Statistical analysis and data collection have become commonplace in sports like baseball. Technology is driving new types of data collection and consumption, creating new possibilities for all sports. In football, we call this next-gen stats.
We've always thought about football in a three-dimensional sense. In the future, there's a fourth dimension that we see. That dimension is information.
We're in the initial stages of what we like to say is revolutionizing the game. Player tracking is going to bring new insights to the game never seen or never even imagined.
Possibilities for the NFL's future are endless, and they begin with next-gen stats. This is NFL Next.
Those of you that have been here before know that we like to open our meetings with a little icebreaker. HStack is a club that pursues the quantitative analysis of sports strategy and management.
As Harvard students, we're not going to be the ones providing the best qualitative analysis, but we can try to answer some quantitative questions.
We're in discussions with the New York Giants about real-time data. Stats and sports actually go very well together. Taking a more statistical approach can lead to gains of 5, 10, 15%. They have these computer chips in their physical pads. Through this, you can measure things like acceleration, deceleration, things like that.
In order to understand the meaning of next-gen stats, we need to understand how and what kind of data we are collecting. The NFL, along with Zebra, are at the forefront of this revolutionary technology.
Every player has 2 tags on them, one in each shoulder pad. 12 to 15 times a second, those tags on the player's shoulders are blinking. The sensors in the stadium are looking for those blinks, and as they see them, they calculate the position of the player by the number of receivers that see each of the tags. The stats that people are used to consuming for football, yards gained, yards passing, those are really scratching the surface of what a player does during the game. So next-gen stats is meant to measure all the other things. It's how far a player runs, how fast they run, how fast are they running compared to earlier in the game, earlier in their career, earlier in that season.
We're looking at a whole new future that largely centers around data. In the manner of printing the ball in the future, you'll be able to integrate microcircuitry to monitor the statistics and help an athlete understand his performance better by measuring spiral quality, measure things like throwing velocity and how well he throws a football, or even the timing sequence of him throwing a football. Data becomes a part of our lives, and being able to measure things that are going on with the technique of the athlete, feed that information back to him, is a fourth dimension that we see as a huge area for innovation for us, for a company.
So what does all this data mean? Many tech companies are hoping it means new ways to exploit and enhance the game viewing experience.
The way we integrate next-gen stats into the broadcast is basically by following along the storylines of the game.
Giants in Washington getting set to start on Thursday Night Football.
We look to find big-time gains with running backs or wide receivers. We look to say separation between defensive backs and wide receivers.
Manning back to throw, steps up, deep ball, Odell Beckham Jr. on the post.
Now someone can say, is 22 miles an hour fast? You bet it is. It's number 1 in the league this week.
Jumps up, makes the catch, touchdown Giants!
In addition to CBS, Microsoft has been using the NFL's next-gen stats data in an even more unique way.
What really got us excited about working with the NFL was trying to figure out ways where Microsoft's technology could kind of take the NFL experience to the next level. With one button press, I am now going to get the next-gen view. So you kind of get that moment of like, hey, this looks like a game of Madden. But then you realize when watching the video highlight that they're tied and they're directly synced. We're getting all this data real time. We actually kind of have a tachometer where we can see his speed during the play, and then we'll actually stamp where he hit the top speed. He's probably in one of our top playmakers this week. I absolutely think these next-gen stats are going to change everything.
We're starting to see things in a new light, and the whole explosion of data and information that's being created.
Tracking data is certainly the future of any professional sport.
There can always be technology added to the NFL, and the cool thing about that is sometimes you don't even know what's coming.
We're still exploring how to best utilize it, but I think we're giving fans a better perspective with these data points.
At all times, I can look over to the right and I can see that play with a 3D representation of the play on my coffee table. I mean, that takes the game to a whole nother level.
Technology continues to provide new data and new ways to exploit it. We will soon see how this will affect coaching, players, and outcomes for professional sports. Next-gen stats and statistical analysis are here to stay.